So, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Moments. Of course, I'm Daniel, hosting this as I always do, and I'm pretty excited for this one. If you want to go ahead, give yourself a little introduction.
My name's Gabriana. I'm Gabby. I'm a little nervous, I guess. It's my first time doing one of these, but I mean, I go to college at William Penn University in Iowa, Oskaloosa, Iowa. It's a smaller town. It's not really like Iowa State, Iowa Hawks, and everything. So I play golf. I'm majoring in kinesiology, so that'll be cool. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll kind of see how that goes into the year because I'm trying to see if I want to continue to stick with my major just because it's like it was more of like a thought. I've always had plans and everything before I went to college, and I was like, you know what? Let's just go with this. I feel like I want to do PT school, and I want to be able to kind of help with like athletes and NBA, NFL, kind of stuff like that. But then I'm like, it's hard. School's hard. School is very hard. Being a full-time student athlete is actually, it's like almost a slap in the face because you're like, whoa, like people don't talk about it. Like you're just like, oh yeah, I'm there to do school and play golf, but man, it's hard. You get to travel, you miss so much school, and it's like the teacher's like, nope, you still got homework due, and it's like, shit, this is real deal shit, and I don't want to like mess up. I want to know what I'm learning, so like in the future, it's not just one year out the other. You know what I mean? So. We'll see what happens. I'm giving myself this year to decide if I want to stick with my major. If not, then we'll change it. But I'm always open to change. So
that's good.
Yeah.
And you've been a student athlete for like what, your whole life basically, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Like even since I was little, my parents have always been like, "No, you're gonna do something. Like you're not just gonna sit in your ass. You're not gonna be on your phone. You're not gonna play video games." Like I've always had that work dependency. Like I tried ballet. I've done soccer. I really enjoyed soccer and softball. Like those two were kind of for sure my main like gateways. Like I wanted to do softball and pursue softball for college. I played that. I swung a golf club maybe like twice in my life when I was like 6, and then I stopped completely, and I played softball for like 5 years straight, and I was playing it throughout high school or middle school, and then when I went to high school, that's when I was like, okay, I think I got burnt out, and I just didn't want to do it anymore, and I was like, I want to try something new. My parents were like, well, you're going to try something new. You're not just going to not do nothing, so like figure it out, and I was like, okay. And I was thinking and everything like that. When I got into golf, it was more like, it's more of a smart, like, money making. It's good for, like, college scholarships. It's very good for, like, especially, like, women or men don't retire playing golf until, like, you have old people still playing tour and making money. So it's, like, you can make a really good living out of it and everything. And people are like, you play golf? And I'm like, yeah, but you don't get it. It's a little bit of a mental game, and I'm honestly up for it. It's different. I miss the physical part of being in softball and the aggressiveness and, like, the adrenaline. But golf is kind of like a game that you control to yourself. It's more of a mental game and stuff like that. So golf has its ups and downs. So, yeah.
So for everybody that doesn't know, I mean, like she said, she plays golf at an extremely high level.
Yeah.
You won a bunch of stuff in high school, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. I did, like, MVP for, like, 4 years straight. I won a lot of tournaments. I was all league, and then I was winning a lot. But I had played, because my high school was a little bit smaller, Delta Charter High School, and we didn't have a women's or a girls team, so we had to play co-ed. So I was playing tournaments with all the guys, playing the white tees with all the guys, and I learned, like, honestly, playing distances with them. Like, yeah, some of them might outdrive me, some of them might get me there, but it's like, it's the short game that gets them. It's like the all-together game, like, who can hold it together the best. And honestly, I was coming out, which was pretty good. Like, granted, there was, like, I was playing tournaments outside of high school, and some of these kids were just, like, taking it during high school, but still, I give myself props for that, so, yeah.
No, that's good. Now, the reason that we've kind of met and everything like that or know each other is through your cousin Ariana. She's been on an episode of the old podcast that I used to have
a long time ago, right? Or the old one that you had started before this one,
But it was cool. It was cool hearing about you, and you know, I'm always interested in people that are doing stuff at the highest level of what they currently can. Like for you in high school, it sounded like everything was like, listen, you're out there to kind of like fuck shit up, for lack of better words, and to go after it.
Of course.
And I admired that. Like, do you think that? Well, I should go back a little bit. Like, what really made you want to get into golf? Because kind of like you said, it's not something that most people just think of if they didn't just grow up with it all the time.
Exactly. Like my parents didn't play it, and usually you have these girls playing like, oh, my dad, he used to play. He's my coach and everything like that. And I'm like, ooh. I did not have that. I mean, my dad played for shits and giggles and everything like that. My mom didn't really play. It was for, like, little, like, business, like, things and everything like that. But and you really get, like, if you don't have kids that play, if you're just starting golf, it's a lot of older people who are just kind of picking up as a hobby or something like that. But I don't know, I thought it was pretty different. I was like, it's different from everything else. Like, I don't want to play soccer. Like, I feel like I'm way too far in the game for some soccer footwork. Like, I kind of started losing that because I was more towards softball, and softball was just burnt out. It was like too much girl drama and just teams, and I was there to play instead of just kind of gossip and stuff. And that's when you're going into high school and the girls, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into that. But with golf, it was more relaxing, I guess. Like, when I first started it, I was like not taking it as serious. Like, it was kind of a trying out kind of thing. Like, my parents had just set up a lesson with my first coach, Shelly O'Keefe, and she was just kind of like, okay, we're gonna try it out, see what happens. I was not good at all. Like, I went out and played my first couple tournaments. They threw me out in tournaments like within 8 months of me just swinging club, barely learning a swing. I was complete softball girl going golf. Like, kind of picture that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a different vibe, different environment, and it was calming, and it was honestly really nice. It was kind of just like self-reflecting and everything, especially at a young age. I was just like so pushed so hard like by my parents, and it was never out of like a forceful thing. It was just like they always wanted me to succeed and do the best that I could possibly ever do, and they always believed in me. So I was like, they supported me, so I was like, let me see if I could do something out of it, and here I am going to college and doing something out of it. So that's great. I mean, it's been a really hell of a ride, honestly. It has gone so fast. I can't believe it's already been like 6 years of me playing. But like when I first started, I think my first tournament was like I shot a 145. Yeah, on 18 holes. Yeah.
So I don't even think I can get a 145 now if I tried. I'm not a golfer. But
it's hard.
It's hard because I think anybody that's like tried to play golf that's never played before is like, I'm just gonna go out and fucking rip it. Like, and you realize even just trying to rip it.
That's what they say, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like no, just gotta. Sometimes that's the times where you fuck up the most, and I'm just like, whoa. Sometimes you gotta take a step back and really look at the game and just. I get frustrated sometimes. Oh my gosh, don't even get me wrong. It's a hard game, but I love when people go out there and play, like, and they enjoy, and they're like, hey, like let's go play, and I'm like, okay, let's go. It's cool. That's cool, yeah.
What do you think is the hardest part about playing golf? Because like you said, like the mental part of it is a pretty big deal.
That is like probably in my eyes like 50% of your game, and like the rest is, well, it kind of depends, but like in per person. But I think a lot is like mental, because you can be the best player out there and shooting the best scores, but it's like if you're beating yourself over like 2 shots, 2 holes, you get a bogey on, like you're gonna tank so hard. So it's like you always have to make sure that your mental game is there to make sure you keep it pushing, you're okay, and kind of just realize it's come back to your basics and come back to your safe spot and everything like that. I think a lot of people struggle with mental game just because it's like you have people who want to like you're always wanting to get better. You're never there. You can always get better. If you're shooting like 5 under, you could be shooting 8 under. So it's like you always have something to tweak on, and it's kind of hard and stuff like that when your mental game is kind of like defeating you and everything like that, when you don't want to do it anymore, and it gets kind of rough out there because it's like you could go out for the past 5 rounds and be shooting in like high 80s, for example. Like for college people, it's kind of like shit. Like we got to be playing a little bit better than that to be able to succeed and win tournaments and everything like that. So kind of get defeated, but you have to keep it pushing. Like how you said, get after it. Honestly, that's exactly how it is.
No, the biggest thing, at least from the stuff that I'm always trying to do, is I'm trying to preach and show like the mental part of almost everything that you do is such a big and like integral part of like whatever it is you do. You can't just go into something thinking that it's whatever if it's like important to you, because if you just take it for granted, it's going to go past you, and then you also might not do the best job that you can, and who knows how far down the line that's going to take a toll on you, rather than taking it serious right there and understanding, okay, let's lock in, let's really get clear and feel about this and go with the movements. But so what do you think? You've been playing for 6 years. You started pretty young still. You might not have been like the little infant toddler that's on the golf course playing everything.
I was still young when I still had some time to be able to improve for sure throughout my high school, but it was a time where it's like, okay, but you're behind. So if you want to get to where you're at or where you want to go, you have to push it double than all these girls are. You have to be practicing. So there's a point where actually for my I was homeschooled for a year and a half, so all my 8th grade and half of my 7th grade year, and it was like nonstop grind. Like I was at the golf course every single day for like an hour and a half to like some days, sometimes to like 4 hours on the course. Like just 4 hours, just grind every single day. And it was work. It was literally work, especially it was like hard because as a young kid like that, and you have like you're going into freshman year, everybody's kind of like going out to parties and going out to go with their friends and going out to the like things that they just want to do. And my parents were like, no, you got to work. And I'm like, you got to sacrifice. Like how you guys always say, like you have to sacrifice for like the things that you want to work for. There were so many things that I missed out on for school events and things like that. I think I made the whole time a little bit by choice, but I think out of my 4 years of high school, I went to one school dance, and it was my senior prom. That was literally it, and we were able to go to prom all 4 years. Like, we had dances and everything like that. I was just like, no, like, I think I'm gonna stay home, work, like, do whatever. Like, it was just little things around the house. Just even with that, like, going back to the mental game, I think playing golf has also, like, really heightened my mentality, just not on the golf course but like outside the golf course, with like a lot of like responsibility and discipline and like maturity. And I feel like it really holds a good account, because like if you're out there on the golf course just throwing ragers, if you're having everything, like trust me, there's a time I really don't want to say this, but there's a time where I think one of my first tournaments I was like literally like shooting super bad. Like I think I had previously on the last 2 holes I had like 2 8s, and then I got like a triple bogey, and I was like, I'm done, like blah blah blah. And it was maybe like the 17th hole, and I remember I was like, I couldn't do it. Like I was just wanting to give up, and my mom was like, you're not giving up. Like if you go home, she's like, you're done. You want to go home? And I was like, no, I can't. Like I couldn't bring myself to do it. I was just like, I gotta keep it pushing. I think that was the last time. That was like one of the first times and last times that I had ever done that, and it was just, it was honestly a self-reflection moment, because it's just like, do you really want to kind of give up? But it was like hard, because I was like, I wanted to give up everything just so I could go have my fun. But then my parents always kind of made it a point to like tell me like, this is gonna, you might not think it now, but this is gonna benefit you in the future. And looking back at just my first year of college, I was like looking back at all the work that I put in to get to that point. It's like, wow, they were right. They were right sometimes, you know.
It paid
Mom,
off.
I'm
sorry. So playing through high school, getting into that, now playing with both the guys and girls at the same time, how's the experience then changed going into the college setting? That's a completely different group of people.
Honestly, we, like I said, we didn't have many girls on the going in high school and stuff like that. We had boys, and even within the boys we had a very small team. Like we had a team of like 5. Sometimes we wouldn't have 5, so like it was crazy. Like it was a very small school, so we didn't have that. Going into college, I walked into 3 different teams pretty much. We have a varsity reserve, and a JV. There was 15 of us, 16 of us, including a coach. And that year, this was the first year that they were doing this. The coach, she's also the coach of the men's. So it was the 6 boys with us. So it was always like the 6 boys and the 15 girls, and Brock, which is our coach, like the GA. He's like kind of like an assistant coach, and then Elise, our head coach. And it was all of us. And sometimes, like, I remember it was just a big change, just because you kind of have a lot of different personalities, especially high school and college. And we had a bunch of seniors, juniors. It was a mix of us. There was maybe 2 freshmen in all of us, so out of all of us. So it was kind of a big change. You definitely you kind of realize that it's not really different from high school sometimes. Like, people don't really, like, they kind of have their cliques and everything like that, which is rough. But it's like, I mean, being on the team aspect of it, it was nice to have a good environment. Like, it was always kind of like your spots are changing all the time. So it's like before a tournament, she would put out the list of like who's going on varsity and who is playing, because there's certain tournaments that only varsity would go to, and there's certain tournaments that everybody would be playing, and you just kind of have the roster. So we would go out and we'd look for those. So everybody's kind of always competing for a spot. If someone plays better, and you might be at the number 1 spot for a little bit, but if someone's catching up to you and they prove that they can be better, then she can switch it. So that's nice. I feel like everybody's kind of always, let's work, like, on their toes and everything like that. It for sure made me on my toes, for sure. Like, it made me want it. Yeah, there was a couple times where I didn't end up being first on the roster. It was kind of, that was also a very big thing. Like, I did a lot during college as well. Like, I remember the first kind of times, it was, I think I was a freshman, obviously, but I ended up on the number 1 spot pretty much the first tournament, second tournament, everything like that, after, like, doing playoffs and everything like that. It was cool. It was cool, and being on the top, it was cool. I was like, okay, I don't want it to, like, let's see what happens and everything like that. There's a couple times where I was playing really good my freshman year. So my first season, and then my second season, it was a little bit more rough. But things happen. I don't know. Yeah.
With something like golf, I mean, I think any sport you can kind of have your consistency can change year to year, just depending on whatever. Do you feel like there's just some times where it's like you just can't catch that groove? Like you're just like, for whatever it is, you just can't dial in the same way. And then if you do, like how have you dealt with that? Like how have you tried to progress past that?
Excuse me, sorry.
You're good. You're good.
Actually, I just kind of been coming out of one of those, like a little, I guess I call them funks, like little steeps and blockages and stuff like that. It comes across a lot because in golf, like you can have a really good going, like you're shooting low 70s and then something just clicks like in the snap of the fingers and you're just like, what the hell, I'm shooting 85. And sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it progressively gets like that. But I think when it hit me, the first season I said like I was doing good and everything. And then the second season, we started in like February. So I had from November to February completely off. Like it snowed on us, so I wasn't physically able to go out to the courses. Like they were closed from like January to February. So like we were like off for weeks, just school and everything. We were doing indoor practice and everything like that, but it was like different. I didn't know what I was shooting. I didn't know and everything like that. So my prior season, to give a rough average, I was shooting maybe low 70s, mid to low 70s. And I shot maybe under one time, I think. Or twice. And then the second season, I was shooting like maybe high 70s, low 80s. So it was like kind of, and that's kind of like a big change in stroke game. So like it was kind of rough because then when we had to start going out to play and everything, I was like, the hell's happening? Like I hadn't seen my swing coach for a little bit. So it was kind of hard because sometimes you need a second pair of eyes to be able to see like, okay, what's actually going on here? Because there's only so much that you can do yourself if you have a problem that you don't know what's going on and everything like that. So it's nice to have that help. It was kind of rough. It's frustrating. You want to just be playing your game. You're like, where to go? Like, I just kind of lost a touch, I guess you can say. Like I said, the mentality thing is like also a big factor. Like it was hard because I was like, I'm going through school, I'm going through this and everything. I was like, but honestly, like I felt I was pretty strong and I got through it. Like I ended up playing pretty decent throughout the rest of the time. I wouldn't say I would play it how I wanted to, but I ended up getting through past it, just kind of, like I said, getting back to the grind. I always say getting to the grind, because it's like people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, getting back to the grind. You gotta get back on to practice. Like if people are like, what are you doing today? Practice. I practice so much. Like it's always everyday thing. Like that's my daily routine. Like how people go to work, I go to work. That's my work. So
yeah. I've always found it really crazy, like for student athletes, because you're going to school and you're not just like, I feel like there's like the cliche statement, or if it's like, oh, if you play sports, like the teachers don't care, like you don't really have to do anything because, or I guess it's like a lot towards like football players. Yeah. But the reality is like you're still getting a degree.
Yeah.
You're still getting a degree. You're taking the same classes as everybody else. And on top of that, you're going to practice and everything like that. What does like a regular day look like for you at like school?
At school, I mean, it kind of depends, like, on and off season. We'll kind of go for on season. I remember, like, just regular throughout the weeks and everything like that. I remember Mondays we'd have practice. So the first season I had about 4 classes. So I would go to my 8:15. I would go to my 9:15. I had a break. Sometimes I would take a nap because, honestly, I wasn't a big napper before I went to college. And everybody was like, oh, you're going to love naps. And I was like, I'm good. I'll make it through the day. No, I need those naps sometimes. And actually, Mondays, we also did have 6 a.m. weights. So we had 6 a.m. weights 3 days a week. And then, so we do that, 8:15, 9:15, have that break. I have class at 1:15 and then a 2:15. And then my 2:15 ended at like 3. And I had to make sure I got my clothes and everything, like to either go walk back to the dorm or have them in my friend's car so we could go ahead and drive to practice, because practice was at 3:30. And it was about 5 to 7 minutes away were the courses that we practiced at. And they were always kind of like, you got to be there 10 minutes early. You got to be there 10 minutes early. That's on time. Like, and for me, I run a Mexican time, okay? Like, I'm very late to everything. And it was such a struggle. Like, that was the one big thing that I was struggling with, was just kind of, like, cutting it close. Like, always being on time, like, that minute there or minute behind. Like, like, just cutting it real close. And I feel like, okay, I got a little carried away. But it was a struggle. I think that was, and then after practice, we would have, if we had time to make it back to the caf, which is the cafeteria, like it closed at 7, we would get there and then pretty much get back, do some homework and relax. I like to watch some movies, chill out, eat some popcorn, I don't know, just relax and then go to sleep and get the rest that I could. Yeah. That was kind of like an average day. If we had like no homework or an essay due, like that was just completely different. Like it was just honestly like no day looks the same. Like yes, it does get like that, especially like I struggled with that too during like the winter time, not being able to go out an experience. I'm a California girl. Like we don't have snow here, and like a lot of people over there do not understand that we don't get that type of stuff. Like we go to there for vacation. Like we don't go there to live there. So it was a little bit rough when they're like, you can't go outside, and like, or it's not even that you can't go outside, but it's like, who wants to go outside in the freezing freaking cold 20 degrees, and it's like nobody wants to do that. Like I don't want to do that. So we stayed inside, and it was kind of rough just going through the days and having that same old day, just going to the same classes, coming back, eating, watching TV, no golf, no nothing, no practice. So those were kind of like the rough days when it was off season. But it's always changing, honestly. I feel like that's the one thing about college that I never realized. It's always changing. Semester 1, you have like all these faces that you're getting to know. Semester 2, you get a lot of
Completely
new people,
different.
a lot of old people, new classes, new transfers, like things like that. So, and I can only imagine what the years look like in different colleges, because I know a lot of people left and a lot of people are coming. So yeah.
So I guess let's go on to what got you to that specific school. Because, I mean, going from California to, what was it, Iowa?
Iowa, yeah.
That's not like...
little people are just like, Iowa? And I'm just like, yes, I understand. That's what I said too. But, like, the college it's different at the college. So I guess that with how I got there is I started, like, the whole recruiting process, like, right when I was able to, like, the end when I turned, or my junior year, when you enter your summer of your junior year, something like that, you can start recruiting. I went onto this recruiting website called NCSA. And it was just this thing where you kind of like pick your school, you kind of like put your major that you want to major in, you kind of put your stats in there, swing videos, kind of like selling yourself out pretty much, like a recruiting website. And I would get messages on messages on messages on messages, like about a bunch of different schools, and it kind of got hard. And I messaged and had already like emailed to like the schools that I was like eyeing on and really wanted to go to. But William Penn, they had the coach at the time, Coach Bailey Rhymes, the recruiter. She was actually very adamant at like always responding, always on top of responding, wanting to like further the communication, further like everything. And it was a little bit harder with a lot of the other colleges that I had wanted to go to. And I think we just kind of like they were always just around to talk. Like, like they were always like there kind of checking in on the golf game throughout the years until my senior year that I kind of decided. And I think it was time that I wanted to like narrow down, because I had maybe like 10 schools that I was like talking to, and then it went to like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna narrow it down to 3, go to those 3 visits, and from their visits I'm gonna choose one. So we're kind of ended up going to 2 schools, and then one was in San Diego Christian College, so I could have been in San Diego, right? It was just a very small school, and like it might work for some people, and like, yes, granted, William Penn is a very small school as well, but this was kind of like, it looked like a community college kind of almost. So it's like, and we were living like 10 minutes away from like actual campus, like a drive on the freeway and everything. And I was like, honestly, like the golf team was just starting out. Like I wanted to be where it was more structured and kind of like already based, so I can just get thrown into the game, like experience the real college like experience. That's what I kind of wanted, was just like going to the football games, the basketball games, like meeting those people, staying in the dorms, stuff like that. Like I kind of wanted that as well. Like
you wanted like the college experience.
Exactly. I've always wanted, like that's what I wanted ever since I was little. That's what I've kind of always worked for, but as well as doing what I love, to play the sport that I love, and getting my education. And it's yeah. Yeah, I kind of forgot where I was going with that one, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
No, but what's the environment, like the difference? Because of course here, like you said warm weather, like relatively clear, like 90% of the year. Like when it rains, we also have the audacity to be pissed off, and we're like, why?
Sunny. Yeah, like it's always such a beautiful day here.
But like, over there, they have seasons.
We experience all 4 seasons, and it's so beautiful. But at the same time, I feel like I would much rather experience also. I was just I wouldn't say vacant, because obviously there's still people there, but it's just very spread out. Like there's cornfields everywhere, like everywhere you go. Like our town is a 3-mile radius every single way. 3 miles, 3 miles, 3 miles, 3 miles. So it's a very small town. They have a Walmart there that's like, when we're bored, when we're gonna want to go look around, like, hey, you want to go to just something? Let's go to Walmart. Like, and I'm like, okay, let's go to Walmart. Yeah, it's like, it's just a very small town, and it's a lot different, because when you go through the 4 seasons, I think I love that, but it's like I could never go back to live there, like on a chosen way. Like I would be like, yeah, I would go buy a house, and I would know. I don't think I would, just because the California, like we're pretty blessed here to have sun, honestly. Like especially especially when it snows over there, it gets to the point where like you don't really see sunlight and the sun doesn't really touch you for a couple of days, like maybe 4 or 5 days. And it's like the only reason why it's bright is because the sun's going down on the snow, and the snow is just so bright, and it's like, okay, it's not sun though. Like, you know, you kind of get like gloomed out. Like, I just want some sunlight, and over here it's always sunny. Like, the sun's just always peeking through. Yeah, we have our little cloudy days, but it's like it's cold over there.
Well, I mean, we're recording this outside. We had no
that's
other
what I'm
lights.
saying.
Like
That's what I'm saying. It's so pretty. And back there, like when it was cold, it got cold. And I remember I was like, okay, it's not that bad when it started like barely getting into the winter time, and then wind started getting chilly. I think the main difference over there is like, yeah, it's windy over here, but it's windy over there. Like, they have nothing to really block it, like the towns and everything. Like, it's not. It gets cold, so like the wind chill makes a lot of the temperatures a lot colder. Like, if it's 40 degrees and the wind chill is like up there, it's gonna be at like 32 degrees. So it's like, ooh, it gets cold, and I'm walking to class and I'm like, ooh, like, and it hurts your face, and it hurts like you can't breathe, and it's just, I'm like, how the hell do people live in here? And some people are out in shorts and everything, or sometimes like they're actually crazy like that, and I'm like, whoa. And they're like, we live here, it's fine. And I'm like, it's not fine. That is not sane. Like, and then you go into our Penn Hall, which we have classes at, and that building is like 80 degrees, and so it's like, I don't know, like, I'm sweating in there with my winter coat, and then when I go outside, it's like freaking cold, and that's the time where it's rough, and I'm like, I want to go home. I want to come home. Yeah. So I think coming back for the winter time, everybody was like, it's so cold, and I'm like, nothing.
No, I don't know. I know me and my lady always talk about places that we want to go, either to visit or to, you know, possibly live in or whatever. And I want to explore like every state, like in depth, and get a feeling of it. But I don't know about like.
Have you thought of any place that you'd like want to like? That you're like, yeah, this could be the one. This could be the one.
For me, I'm like maybe Texas.
Okay, yeah. A lot of people honestly say Texas. It has good weather. It gets cold, but then it also gets very hot and humid. And
yeah, the Texas summer is no joke. I got a lot of friends out there
Really?
that always tell me about it. And then kind of like the Northwest, like the Washington, Oregon area.
Yeah, that's where I wanted. Like,
very beautiful.
Yeah, that's where I would. That was my other choice for school. So yeah, Washington or Oregon. I was like, it's beautiful up there. Yeah, it's way beautiful up there. It's just, it's green. Yeah, California's green, but like in some areas. And that's what I also like over there on the Midwest. Kind of, I had taken a trip out to Minnesota like twice. I actually had flown back because I made a really good friend out there. She was like my dorm mate kind of in the first section. So the first semester we were living in a dorm. Yeah, we're in the first section. We're in the kind of like the dorms where it was like 4 rooms, and we all share a bathroom and a living area, and it was like 8 girls, and there was a lot of us. So it was like, okay. And I was living with another golfer at the time, and we were just kind of sleeping there, and you're like literally like a bed's here and then a bed's there, and we have our little wardrobes, and it's like a small room. And it was cool. It was like the college experience for sure, like the whole showers, sharing with the girls and everything, but it was glad that it wasn't like one of those college ones where like you like in the whole freaking like
floor.
Yeah, they have some of those actually over there because there's like a couple different dorm units, and we're like, okay, whatever, we're gonna stick it out. And me and one of the other girls, she's a volleyball player, her name is Kaya. Like, she's probably gonna watch this. She's gonna think, oh my gosh, I love her. She's actually a really good friend of mine because it feels like I've known her forever, but I just met her like a little bit ago, like for college when we first moved in together. And then after that, we kind of went some bumps in the road, and we figured that we kind of need our own spaces. So there's a different dorm unit called Market, and we were able to go in there. So we got lucky and got into a double unit. So it was me and Kaya. We each got our own room and our own bathroom, and then we shared a little living area and a little kitchen. And it was awesome. It was such a good time. Like, I cannot explain to you. College is a good time. College, it's rough for sure. It has its ups and downs, but it's a good. You can't beat college. It's such a good time. I loved it. I'm working at the same time as having fun. I miss my family at home, but like, I'm glad I'm able to go out and experience. Yes, Iowa was a little bit hard to like go and experience things because there's not always stuff to do. Like, a lot of the things that are there to do, you have to drive an hour away to go, like Des Moines, or like if you want to go to Iowa City or something like that. But it's different. You pick and choose where you want to go. I mean, it's an experience. I guess I get to say that I'm like, hey, I went to college in Iowa or something like that. You know, it's cool. It's cool for the now. Yeah, it's cool for the now.
So to backtrack a little bit, you've said that your family has been like extremely supportive of what you've done, and I've got to meet a little bit of your family and your extended family.
Oh yeah, you guys are a good part of
in different, like, I guess, headspaces at times.
There's so many different personalities. Like, there's just so many of us in general, so like, you're gonna get a lot.
But I can honestly say that like you and your group of cousins are like that are all extremely close and supportive of each other, and all kind of like badass in your own ways.
Yeah.
And I love to see it.
Yeah.
And to see how like supportive I've noticed like of everybody is of towards like what you're doing or what somebody else is doing. Like you guys all have each other's back.
Yeah, no matter what.
Like I feel like that has to play like a pretty big role in the way that you've gone to attack something and to be like, well, I'm gonna go and do this thing, but I know that I have people behind me that are like, we got you. Like, don't worry about it. Yeah. Does that take like a little weight off your shoulder about, you know, leaving the state, doing something?
I mean, yeah, when I had first left, I was like, okay, I gotta go do. It's not like, of course, I'm doing it to make everybody look proud, and you know, but at the same time, I want to be able to do it for myself, and this is something that I'm doing. So leaving, it's kind of like, okay, I gotta go do what I need to go do, and I know that they're not. It's not like I'm leaving to go do something bad. It's like they're gonna go support me. So yeah, I guess what you can say is like how you were saying that it's a little weight off my shoulders for sure. Obviously, I still miss them. Like I hang out with them all the time. Like we were just hanging out yesterday, so like we're hanging out all the time. But it's hard because it's like you're over there and you kind of see like my cousins hanging out, my mom hanging out. She'll FaceTime me and like everything like that. And it's nice to see them and talk to them. But it's like it's different when you're there because like my family and I, how you had said like. They're like my sisters. Like, all of them are like my sisters, no matter how old. They go from, like, 27, 29 to, like, little babies. Like, they're all, like, my brothers and sisters or my nieces and nephews. And my uncles and my tias are all, like, my second moms and dads, pretty much. Like, it's just a very close family. So, like, it was kind of hard leaving. But I was just doing it for the better. I knew I was going to come back for breaks anyways and everything like that. But I was also very excited to go and experience the real world. Not even the real world, just, like, real college, like, living in a different state, living so far by myself, you know, and I wasn't really the type of person who's like always like I need help, like I need this, like I'm not a person to ask for help, like I'm gonna do it by myself. If I fail, I fail, but I did it by myself, you know. I want to be able to do it, and if I succeed, I succeeded, you know what I mean? But it was hard. It was definitely hard. Like it's a slap in the face living on your own. You gotta make sure you actually like. It's really like doing the bare stuff, like making sure you actually eat, making sure you actually go to the gym, making sure you actually get your homework done, like shower and go to bed, get your hours of sleep, like get your extra time, get your time of like for peace and mind, get your time of like, okay, I gotta go practice, school and everything like that. It's hard. Like you gotta be able to manage your time, and I struggled with that for a little bit, but I definitely worked on it when I came back from my second semester, and it was a lot better. Like, don't procrastinate. That is, wow, I'm slurring my words, but don't do that. Don't do that. I'm a big procrastinator. It's so bad.
That's like one of the hardest
things. But
things.
I do always get it done. Just, we're going to make that clear. It's like, it's always done when it needs to be.
On the record.
Yes. I may be very behind on doing it. Like, everybody's like, oh, you haven't done it yet? Nope. I'm going to get it done, though. It's due at 11:59, 11:57. I will turn it in. I promise.
Oh, I have that like during semesters and stuff like that. I have that alarm on. Just 11:57. It's got to be. It's got to be done.
Yeah. Some of my teachers did not like. They were like, "No, you have to do it." And I'm like, "Okay." Those are the teachers that actually let me learn, though. Like, they will really not accept that assignment because there's like students who be like, "The Wi-Fi is down," because we really do have shitty Wi-Fi at that school. Like, we're in the middle of Buffalo, nowhere. Like there's no Wi-Fi. So sometimes it's ass, but like people be playing that too much, and it's like the teachers buy into it, and it's like they're not gonna be like, yeah, here you go. I don't know.
So going back more into your golf game.
Yeah.
What do you think? You're doing something cool. You're doing something pretty big. I would like to think. But what do you think is like kind of the driving factor for you? Is it just, you know, you like playing sports, you like doing something and challenge you, but kind of like what's the reason that like this is the thing you want to do and you want to just compete? You don't want to just go and play and be a part of a team because sometimes that's just what people want to do. I know I did that with, you know, when I played soccer and everything. I just enjoyed being on the team and just having a little bit of fun. But what like makes you want to just push to be like the absolute best version of yourself in the sport and then outside of it?
I guess my dad's always kind of said, he's like, don't settle for the bronze, always go for the gold. I guess kind of thing. He's always been like kind of a little motivator guy and everything like that. He's very strong-headed and very supportive, but he's always said that, and I've kind of always been like, okay. And I've always thought like, if I'm doing really good, I can always do better. So I always kind of like have these big aspirations and big goals and big dreams and everything like that. And I think one of my main factors is just kind of see how far I can get with this. I know I can probably go professional if I really put my mind to it and really practice and work my ass off because I have the potential, I have the talent. I believe in myself, you know, like it's not coming across as cocky. I just feel like if you put it out there that you can do it, I feel like you can get it back, you're gonna do it. You know what I mean? If you really want it that bad. So, but I don't really like to feel like, okay, I'm gonna go pro. Like, no, I want to see it happen. I wanted to do it, but it takes time. It's gonna be a little goal. Like, it's, you know what I mean? So, I think just doing it, also like being in collegiate athletes, kind of like that side of school, I guess. Being able to do school at the same time is like also, and being able to have the benefits of a scholarship and everything like that, being on the team, it's also it's helpful, especially with the amount of support that I've had from my parents. I feel like that's the least I can really do is help them with school, regardless if I was going to be paying or not, because they've kind of always given me that option. Okay, like, we're going to support you, but you're going to work your ass off, like, in return. So I was like, okay, you know what, like, I got it. Like, and it's, yes, I'm doing it for that in return, but it's also like, okay, I get what they're trying to do, you know what I mean? And whatever I do in my future, regardless, I know I will be successful because I have to. I just cannot not be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just always have that in my mind to just, we gotta get shit going, you know? So whatever I do, obviously I'm always gonna give a return to my parents. I'll take care of them and everything like that. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for everything that you do. Like, I very appreciate it.
But I think that's good. I mean, you're a bit younger than I am, right? I'm 24.
Yeah,
You're
19,
right?
Yeah, I just turned 19.
And so I always get, that sounds kind of cocky, I get people
No,
that have
yeah.
told me before, whether they're saying like, well, you just seem like more mature for people that are not only your age,
I
but
get
like
that a
kind of
lot.
like this
Yeah, I get that a
generation,
lot,
I
yeah.
guess. And I'm sure you get the same thing, because what you're saying is stuff that like I hear from the group of people I hang out with, and all those people are like their 30s, 40s, around that age. They're all, you know, business owners or
Yeah.
whatever. And it is really refreshing to hear that from you, because not only does that mean that, yeah, you're a badass at what you're doing, and like you're not just here to like fuck around,
Of course not. Never.
but there's also like, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I've lost hope for everybody outside of us, and like all the younger kids are just like fucked. But I think that does come down to like kind of like your community around you. Like you said, right now, your parents were, you know, were a big factor in kind of forming like, how are we going to think about this?
Yeah.
Right. And it's if we're going to do something, we're going to do it 100%. We're not just here to have fun or be like, oh, you know, it could have been something good.
Yeah.
And to hear that you're on track essentially to become a professional in what you're doing, must feel good.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you're not walking around being like, well, I'm gonna be a pro.
Of course not. Like, no, because it's a very hard thing to do, and it's kind of like a reality thing. Like, even my coach has said it. She's like, going pro is like a big decision. She's like, life changes like that. She's like, it's not just something that you think, oh, going pro. It's like a lot of shit comes with it. You know, like it comes with a lot of benefits, but you know what I mean? Like, everything has its ups and downs. Everything has its goods and bads. So it's like you have to pick and choose like what you want, what your life wants to be like in the future. And it's kind of hard to think about like, okay, I have to make these decisions now, because it's like I've came to like my goal like of coming to golf, and it's like that what's next. And obviously I want to go pro, but it's like, what if something changes? I'm always open to change. So it's like I'm not gonna just kind of spit out there and be like, I'm gonna go pro, like, you know what I mean? So like, but yeah.
Has there been any like, I guess, changes? I know I'm like a social media guy now. It's still really weird to say.
Yeah.
But for me now, I see how people outside of just, you know, my core group of friends or whatever, how they start to view me. Do you feel like you going to college to compete in golf, has that changed any way that like people view you, or you feel like it's kind of just stayed the same?
I don't think it's changed the way that people have viewed me. I feel like it's definitely opened a lot more people to view me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because before, like, when I was starting on golf, obviously I was not as good. Like, it was never, like, I've had people even in softball, like, when I was playing in softball teams, like, the dads of the coaches would be like, you're not going to be nothing. She's not going to be a good pitcher, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was just kind of always people just saying, like, little comments. And I feel like everybody's going to get their little haters, blah, blah, blah. Like, people are just going to shit, and maybe they're projecting, whatever. Like, I don't know. But as a little kid, it's like, okay. But I'm always the type of person to be like, nah, you don't think I can do it? Watch me. Like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to stick it to you, too. I'm not going to stick it to you, but you're going to watch me do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even to prove you anything. It's to prove, like, look, what? Like, what now? So it's like, I think for when people, like, before, everybody, like, I've known people as, like, parents my parents' friends and everything like that. Like, obviously, we've had business friends and just family friends and everything like that. I think it's been cool. My intermediate family, like, obviously, Isadi and, like, my cousins and everything like that, hasn't been different. It's been different in the fact that it's kind of just, like, wow, Gabby's going to college. It's not so much like, oh, Gabby, like, the golfer or whatever, like, everything like that. She's just going to college. Gabby's growing up, blah, blah, blah. So I'm kind of like, okay, like, that's how it is. It's like a sisterhood kind of bond. Like, that, I guess, is changing, but for going to college and going to school and competing, I feel like a lot of people kind of are like, oh, you're the golfer. Like, if they meet me, they're like, oh, this is my daughter, Gabby, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, Gabby, oh, but you're the golfer. Oh, and I'm like, yes, I am the golfer. I'm the golfer. I should introduce myself like that. And people are like, oh, yeah, I know her. No, but yeah, I get that a lot. It's like, oh, you're the golfer. You're the golfer. You're the golfer. And it's all good. Like, I love how people support me 1,000% because my parents, I'm not a very big social media girl. Like, I have social media and I'm on it. Like, I love watching TikTok and everything like that, but posting a lot of my life out there, especially like my golf accomplishments, it's not even that I don't want to post it out there. It's just because I just like, I guess like that's my only like answer to it. It's not like I have the need to be like, hey, like look what I did. Like, my parents love posting because they're proud parents, you know what I mean? So like, I go on Facebook and I look at everybody's comments and they have like maybe like 80 comments of like friends and family just going, and I'm like, heart. I was like, I love the support. Every time I see them, I'm like, what's up? Like, you know, I love seeing them. If like I love talking to all my Theos, like they're starting to get into golf now. Like my dad and my Theo and everything, they actually started going to play golf. I think the questions of like, they love, especially my mom's side of the family or both sides of my family, they love asking questions about how college is, because out of my mom's side of the family, I'm the only one who's gone away for college, like away for like even just to a university. I know my other cousins have completed some college and everything like that, and my mom's completed college, but it was never like a university scholar athlete kind of thing. So we're the first two grandchildren of my dad's brothers, so like my grandma and everything like that, to go to college. So that's been pretty cool too. Like, I've been trying to give these experiences to also like I'm not trying to say like I'm doing the experiences for everybody else, but I love sharing them because everybody's excited to hear them just as much as I would be, because it's like, I understand, you know what I mean? When I was little and I was like asking my college, like my other cousin, he went to Chico State, so like for baseball, and he played baseball there, and I would always ask him like, how is it out in college? Like, is it actually cool? But coming from a dude going to college, obviously he'd be like, this
it's a little different.
And I'm just like, yeah, like, okay, Kyle, like, you know what, whatever. But I always wanted to go just for school. Like, I always thought school. You know what I mean? So that's kind of been, I mean, people's views are different. Like, some people think, like, other things are happening, like, oh, she's doing these big things. She doesn't have time for me, or blah, blah, blah. She has these big things. And then people think that it's, like, very cocky thing and things like that. And it's, like, I feel like I'm very not like that at all. Like, I like to say that I'm humble just because it's, like, I mean, yeah, like, I don't want to come across that it's nonchalant. I don't care. Like, of course I care. I love golf. Like, that is my life. Like, don't mess with me about it. But it's, like, I'm not going to be like, look what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, like, if you see, you see. Good job. You know, like, I'm going to root you on just as much, you know? Like, I'm always very supportive just as much as I want to be supportive. So, yeah.
No, I think, I know I've said it already today. Probably a handful of times that, like, I do think that you're doing, like, big things.
And I appreciate it, yeah.
But I think where my brain goes about that is like, I always think about like who's next. Like, you know, I have younger cousins and stuff like that. I don't have any nieces and nephews yet. But I always think about, okay, well,
just wait.
If I can do this and I can show people that it's possible to do, which is, I think, is my number one driving factor, is I'm like, yes, I like to do cool stuff. I like to do my races and all these other little projects and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, just hearing people say, it's like, cool, now I kind of want to see if I can go do something. Whether it's like, I want to run a 5K, or I signed up for my first marathon, or I had someone tell me, they're like, I'm going to do an Ironman. I was like, oh shit, like, go for it.
Yeah,
like,
I don't even know if I can run like 2 full miles. Like, I'm not a runner. Like, that's the pride in golf. Like, yes, it's not physical, but like, okay, walking 18 holes is hard.
That's a long day.
Sometimes we be walking 36 holes a day. Like, so yeah, but those hobbies, I mean, I give you so much credit for those runs, because like, I could not. But what was your question again? I'm sorry. You were like talking about.
Well, I was pretty much just going on about like how I'm always looking at the people that you're inspiring that you don't even know.
Yeah.
Right.
Most definitely.
Like, I've gotten messages from random strangers about like, oh, like, thank you for like posting this. Yeah, I was
hearing about that. Yeah.
And that still like blows my mind, and I can only imagine like you in women's golf, which I don't know how popular it is. Like, I'm not going to pretend to be like, oh, you know, this, that, or the other.
Definitely not as popular in men's golf, but it's getting up there for sure. Yeah. We're getting out there.
And to see somebody, I think to see somebody from like our community, let alone this like this area, Modesto.
QC, yeah.
I think that's a very big deal, because you're showing women, like little girls, that it's like, hey, just go out and do it. And it might not be the typical thing. I don't think golf is typically like
it's
a
definitely not
Hispanic heritage sport.
Yeah, I think it's not to say anything, but I'm the only Mexican on the golf team. Like we're supported by like barely not a lot of. We have a German girl on the team. She's international. We have a couple other girls from, but it's not very, it's diverse, but it's not as diverse a sport. You know what I mean? Like you have a lot of fair white people and everything like that. So like it come out just like straight little Mexican girl wanting to play golf. They're like, fuck, like you know what I mean? Like you kind of get those looks and everything like that because it's a different environment. Like whatever. I think it's cool to like I don't know if I feel like I'd inspired anybody. I mean, maybe to like play golf, try it out, like for shits and giggles, like to like, hey, like I want to go do something. But like a lot of my cousins are a little bit younger. I would love for them to be like, hey, Gabby's going to school. I want to get my education done. Like I would love to show that example, to show that like, hey, it's a good time. Work for what you want. Like work your ass off. Like, you know what I mean? Like I would love to set that example, especially for my little brother. Like I want to be able to set a good example to like, hey, you're going to be doing the same thing. You're not going to be sitting on your ass and doing nothing either, okay? Like, we're going to be successful here. Like, we are all we got. Mom and dad, after, like, they're gone, like, we are all we got. We're going to do this. You know what I mean? So I want to be able to – he's still little, but, like, he still sees me going to college and doing these things. I would hope for him to be able to have, like, not even go to college and do the same thing, but, like, have goals. You know what I mean? Just kind of have that set. There's other – I mean, I don't think I've ever gotten a message that, like, hey, like, you're doing good. Like, maybe family members, hey, you're kicking ass, whatever. But I think there's a little girl – her mom has a little golf page, and her mom messaged me not too long ago saying that she kind of heard me through my coach and talked about how I was doing really good in college and everything like that, and I was home for the summer, and I don't have a current like job because I'm practicing everything, and we went to Mexico, so it's just like it doesn't line up for a good job, especially when I'm going to be leaving next month. And she was like, hey, if you want to come caddy for my daughter, she loves like playing along to like the William Penn like little the Instagram page and how all our stats go and everything like that. Like, if you want to come caddy for her at a couple tournaments, that would be amazing. And I would be like, yeah, of course. And so I'm going to go meet them, and that'll be cool. I feel like being able to help, like, little girls like that, it's cool. And I think there was this one time when we actually made it to nationals for this last season. We were conference champions for conference champions for the college. And at nationals, after our practice round, we had this kind of like, it was the first tee. It was like a little golf camp for like little girls, and they had came, and there was like maybe like 40 little girls, and we all kind of got in pairs and everything, and we we kind of like matched up with the girls, and we were helping with the swing and everything. They were practicing on the driving range, and then we went out to the course and we played TPC Deer Run actually for nationals. I don't know if you know where that is. It's in Illinois. They're playing the John Deere Classic, the big tournament.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for the PGA Tour. We played 18, and we played one hole and another hole, and it was cute just seeing the little girls, and they're kind of like in awe because they're like these college girls and everything, like these college athletes at nationals, and these girls, and they're making this. It's like a big deal in college, you know what I mean? It's like it's surreal sometimes because it's like we're just playing golf, like like, but other people are like, this is like no real deal shit, and it is. Don't get me wrong, it is. And so when the little girls, I'm like, I remember I used to be like that when I played softball, and I would look at like Jenny Finch because she would come and like do like pitching lessons and stuff like that, the academies that I would practice at. Like I would look up to her, and I'm like, damn, like all these college girls, I look up to them. I want to do this, I want to do that. So it's like I can only imagine what they're thinking, wanting to play golf. The girl that we had actually gotten paired up with, she was maybe 10, 11. She was actually this little girl, and she was kind of like, yeah, like she was cool, like she was a cool little girl. Like I would be friends with her. She was a little bit older. Like it was actually really cool. And I don't know what it was, but it was me and my other teammate. We were kind of like with her, caddying her, carrying her clubs and everything. And she was a volleyball player as well, but she said she liked volleyball more, and her mom was making her do this camp. And I don't know what it was, but after the camp that we were kind of like all saying our goodbyes, like she was like, it was actually really nice meeting her. Like we had conversations, like I was getting to know her, and she was kind of like, do you have Snapchat? And I was like, what? I was like, what? Like, is this wrong? Like, I don't know. And she's like, no, like I want to be able to come watch you guys play at the tournament. Like, I want to come. It's my birthday, like, tomorrow or something like that. My birthday was actually going to be the 31st or the 26th. Her birthday was, like, the 25th. So it was, like, we had the tournament days all through there. Or it was the 23rd. And so after that, I was like, you know what? Okay, let's see if this little girl can like whatever. I'm not gonna if it goes anything weird. Obviously, like I'm not gonna be
Be professional about it.
Yeah, of course. And so I gave her my Snapchat, and we're on the bus heading home. The first thing I get is a snap from her, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So me and Grace, like my teammate, were sitting next to each other, and it's like this thing. And she has like this little snap, and she's like, and I'm like, okay, we're not gonna be having a streak here. Like I just thought it was so hilarious because she was just like, blah, blah blah. She said my mom said that I could come watch you guys, blah blah. And I was like, okay, like. Maybe she could come watch, but I didn't think she was actually going to come watch. I think the second day of the tournament, I'm on, like, the second hole. And I see her and her mom walking down, and I'm like, they came to watch. They came to watch us play. They came to watch me play, actually, for a couple holes. So it was, like, I thought it was pretty cool because I'm like, I don't know this girl. I'm not even from over here. Like, she lived in Illinois. So, like, I was like, I go to school in Iowa. I'm not even from Iowa, so it's like I'm experiencing this whole thing, and it was actually pretty cool doing that with the little girl. I think even with the first tea camp, I think that was a cool experience just to see the little girls and everything. They're kind of like in awe of everything, and I'm like, yep.
But yeah, I mean that's pretty much exactly what I mean by that. It's like you just never know who you're gonna end up leaving an impression on.
Yeah.
And like 99% of the time, like they're not gonna say something. They're not gonna be like, "Oh my God, you showed me that like I might love golf," or that you're the reason.
And I don't need people to do that. I'm just like, if you want to do it. Like if you want to have a good time and you have a good time, go for it. If you want to go play golf to try it, go for it. If you did it because of me, good job. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm glad that I was able to do that for you. You know, like. Go open, like, I would want nothing more than to just be able to open people's eyes and tell them, like, hey, like, there's experiences out there. There's so much to life. Like, if you don't want, so you get a lot of people will be like, you play golf? Like, you play golf? Like, what's the fuck, you play golf? And I'm like, yes, I play golf. Yes, I swing a damn club, make the ball in the hole. Yes, I play golf. Like, sometimes it gets a little frustrating. Sometimes I don't even want to say, like, hey, I'm a golfer. Like, sometimes I leave that out because it's like, yes, but I'm Gabby too. I'm Gabriana too. Like, you know, I have like I got school going on. I still got a life going on and everything like that. So it gives and takes, I guess. Everybody has their own little opinions about it. And I'm just like, whatever. If you're not swinging the damn club, then don't say nothing because go ahead. If you want to take my place out here, you please, please. Because, wow. It's different. I mean, I like it, though, because then you get to meet a lot of new people. I've met a lot of people throughout the way. I
bet.
Yeah. I think being able to meet a lot of people that live in different countries and different places, I think the most diverse that I've ever played in, I competed in Junior Worlds at Pinehurst, like, 3 times. And I played with a girl from Paraguay. I played with a girl from Japan. I played with a girl from China, Honduras, like, Costa Rica, like everywhere. And it's just like cool being able to like see them because some of them don't even speak English and their caddies are like translating for them. So it was like cool to get to experience that. And then being able to experience girls that live like that you don't even know for like college, like our girl from Germany and like the guys that we have a lot of incoming people too from like France. It's just a very diverse school that we have a lot of people going from. So it's like it's cool to meet people and get the experience that you're getting out of playing golf and going to college and everything like that. It's cool. I like it. Yeah.
No, I think that I don't think there's much that's going to replace the experience that you're having right now, playing with the people you're playing with all around the country and, you know, the globe at that. So it's definitely something to really cherish on.
Yeah.
But
it's once in a lifetime type of thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm like, I already got 3 years left. Like, it's going quick. And I'm like, I'm already moving in next month, and I'm like, holy crap, sophomore in college. I can only imagine how my mom feels because every time I think about how fast life goes, I'm just like, I can only imagine my mom, like, because I always look through her eyes. Because every time I say something, I'm like, oh my gosh, like when I was talking about my 19th birthday, I was like, I can't believe I'm turning 19. She's like, dude, shut up, like, I can't believe it. And I was like, dude, I know, like, it's crazy. It's crazy how fast life goes, especially when you're in college. I feel like it goes faster just because you have something going every single day, especially even if you don't have outside school activities or a basketball game or a football game to go to or something like that, like extracurricular. You still have practice, workouts, homework, and school and sleep and eat, and that's it. And it's like sometimes you just want to eat days and sometimes you just want to sleep days, you know what I mean? So it's like, man, it's definitely a whirlwind. College is a heck of a ride, but I'm here for it. I love it. Why not? Why not? I'm having a great time.
No, and I think you're doing a damn good job at it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But I think we're probably in a good place to wrap it up from here. So I don't know if there's anything you want to tell them to follow you or anything like that, or to watch out for.
Follow me. You can follow also the William Penn Golf the women's page. It's WPU Women's Golf. My ad is just Gabriana Franco. I don't know if you're gonna add it in or not. But
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was a long talk, a lot of just going back and forth. I'm a very big talker. I think, like, how you were doing your first podcast, I'm sorry to keep going, but how you did your first podcast and you kept going back and forth, I was like, dude, that's me. I was like, I can't. You get me talking, and I'm just going to keep going, so.
Well, that's why we're here.
Yeah,
I'm here to have conversations. I'm here to
Yeah,
talk, and I loved having you on.
I'm glad. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It was a good time.
So, yeah, tune into any of her stuff. I mean,
It'll be
especially
very
if you guys are
active
into
during
golf.
the school year. It'll be active, especially with our good photographer.
But yeah,
It's going to be active. Follow
All right.
along. Yeah.
I think that's it.
All right. Yeah.
Later, guys.
That was cool.